So Saheli Women stands for a slow fashion, and we are a small, like a grassroots organization. So our umbrella organization is called Institute for Philanthropy and Humanitarian Development. That's a non-profit organization, and that we started 5 years back. And we got inspired by the Narendra Modi, our Prime Minister, when he was talking about the rural development. And that was the time I just came from UC Berkeley, finishing my diploma in social welfare. So I thought, oh, I should also work in my own village, because the Prime Minister is also promoting, and it's really important to bring the development also in a rural area. So I started working in a small village called Bikumpur. Population of our village is around 5,000 people. It's surrounded with beautiful sand dunes. And Saheli Women was our very first initiative in the village. 5 years back, we collect, like it took us like almost, I would say, 2 months to build even the like primary relationship with the village community. And we collected somehow 5 ladies. And there was a very little tiny room we had with no electricity, no running water. And I told the ladies that we want to work on a woman empowerment, when we'll teach you some nice skills like development training. And ladies liked the idea, but it was really weird for them that someone suddenly came to the village. And I am from the village. Technically, I'm a daughter-in-law of that village. But then they think, oh, how come now suddenly someone is teaching us some skills development? So this took a little bit for village community to understand. But we got a first group of 5 ladies. We taught them embroidery. So the whole Saheli woman was started with the 10,000 rupees, which is, I can say, around $100. And we didn't have money to buy a sewing machine, but we, with the 10,000 rupees, we could manage buying the needles, thread, and some rough material from the old town of Jodhpur, where I belongs to. And then we hire a teacher, and we started giving them a embroidery. And then ladies did ask me the question that how this training is empowering us. You said that you want to do the woman empowerment, and you're now teaching us embroidery, and it's good that we are coming out from the home, but how is empowering us? And I asked them, what is the initial needs? So poverty, like, is the initial need. There is no livelihood for ladies, there is no livelihood for men. So then livelihood for women was just not like possible there. And then lady said, if you really want to empower, then give us some financial tool in the hand. And I realized that yes, empowerment comes from a financial freedom for the ladies, financial empowerment for the ladies. And that's how the idea came, that now it's time for us to introduce this skills with the market. And our challenge was, everything was handmade, everything was hand embroidered and all. And there was a challenge that who would buy this handmade embroidery thing in Jodhpur or in India, where will actually find a market, and how to like even sell that. Then I realized that people in the Western world really appreciate handmade things so much. And I also thought that this way we can even get a better revenue for organization, and for ladies we can give them even better salary if we sell it in the Western world, because the currency difference and all. And we introduced the idea with the people, and they loved it. And it was initially very difficult for us to find a market, find a partner. For a first 1.5 year was a very struggle. Then there was a first partner we met. Her name is Jen DeCruz. She runs the brand called Jazzy Vintage. Jazzy Vintage, yeah. So she came to visit us, and she was looking for a vintage, and she asked me that we can work together if your ladies can find something vintage. And I told her that's not possible, because my ladies can't even leave the home without permission. So for them it's not possible to travel to different village and find the vintage. But if you want to work with me on a woman empowerment, you have to introduce their skills in the international market. And she came to the village with me. She met the ladies. She really liked it. And then I remember after 2 days we were sitting in the restaurant eating lunch, and we draw first design on the, like, what you call the tissue paper napkin. And that's how the whole table napkin. Yeah, table napkin. And that's how the whole designing thing started in our studio. We went to the traditional master who stitched my blouse. He showed him the design. He took some rough, like old newspaper. He cut the design on the newspaper and said, "This is your paper pattern." We took the paper pattern to the village. We showed the ladies, now see, we have a stitching work. But then the problem was the ladies learned the embroidery and now we got them stitching work. How they'll do the stitching work? We don't even have a sewing machine. So somehow we managed to get those pandal, old sewing machine for them. And then ladies learned themselves the very first design. We started making this design on a rough material. And slowly today, in 4 years, they are stitching clothing from last 4 years. Now we have a professional sewing machine for them. We have 35 ladies in our studio. Our ladies are earning, the startup budget was $100, but then every woman is earning more than $100 per month. The ladies are only working between 4 to 5 hours. We don't have a fixed working hours for them. It's because it's not a factory. We are, Saheli Women doesn't stand for a factory. We doesn't stand for a fast production. We only accept the small production. We, even someone email us time to time and they say, oh, we want 100 shirt like this. We want 500 simple button down shirts, and we refuse the order because we don't stand for those kind of, production. We stand for a beautiful garment which involve women's art skills, embroidery, which give them a fair price, that they don't need to work from 9 to 7 every day to meet their basic wages. They work 4 to 5 hours, and within 4 to 5 hours, they meet their, basic wages. Changed a lot. It is very much because everything was linked with the financial empowerment. I always say women empowerment would not come through only workshops or talks or seminars. It will only come if we go on the grassroots level and we give these tools to the grassroots level, like, ladies who are sitting on a, small villages and like remote areas, because they are also part of our female community. And it's something very, unfortunate that so many intelligent women are sitting in this remote area. If you will look at the women's, skills, they're just amazing, unbelievable, the type of embroidery they do. And we give them a skills development training, but again, it was certainly lying in their heart. As soon as they get the thread, needles, and get the freedom to make mistakes, that they can afford making mistakes, it's just within a few months we see the amazing transformation in the lady's skills. So I would say that woman, when she become a financial empowered, her situation, and we have evidence of proof in our village, her situation not only changed in the family, but it also changed in the society and in the entire village. She get the decision making power in her hand. Everyone listens her. People come and ask her advice, because now they started thinking that, oh, she is also intelligent because she is bringing revenue. So how much it is strongly, linked with the revenue and finance. Now we have almost all the Europe, and we are selling in UK, Australia, America. Like, these are the areas where, see our market, and we have a clients from those areas. So when we designed the Saheli Women organization, we did the assessment, what is our strength and what is our, weakness. The strength of Saheli Women is we are really good at the grassroots level. We are really good connecting people. We are really good giving the skills training to our ladies. We are really good advocating for women to come out from her home and do something. We meet her mother-in-law, we meet her father-in-law, we meet her brother-in-law, and we take a permission. And in between also there is a high risk that woman, after learning for a few days, she again give up and go home, and we bring her again and we talk, give her motivation and all. So that's very good strength we have. Our weakness is we are really not good in the marketing, especially international marketing. So we decided that we would never, so far yet, we don't sell directly. We have a partners working with us, and these are the small brands, startups, or medium level brands, and we actually produce for their designs. Sometimes brands come and they give us their design to produce, so we produce their design. sometimes they give us free hand that this is the pattern and design, and you can give women full freedom and they can come up with the embroidery and all. So we also do that. So people can find all the clothing which we make through our like partners. They can go on our website, they can go on our Instagram, they can check which partner we are working with, and they can shop from there. All the partners give us the price of our garment, including stitching, embroidery, packing bags, and everything. But we have no concern with their profit margin. So if they will see somewhere the price is high or price is low, it's not because of us. We do not share any profit with any partners. We only get the production cost from them. Most emotional and touch garment is the very first dress we created for Jazzy Vintage. And the first very dress we created that's still in the studio, and ladies are so emotionally touched with this dress because that was our journey in the ethical fashion wasn't easy. It was very difficult because I'm not from the fashion background. I'm a social worker. Ladies are also not from the fashion background. So we had to all learn, and we also had to learn into the level which will meet the expectations of the European market. So that quality, meeting that quality was really challenging for us. When we don't understand and when we don't have resources, it was difficult. And ladies also now only stitching from last 3-4 years. It's not that they've been stitching from last 10 years. So that very first dress was so emotional and so attached.
So it's a symbol for you.
Symbol for us. Yeah. And then recently we created a beautiful Rajasthani jacket. So there is a hotel in Washington DC. They are like making the whole decoration or interior on the theme of women empowerment, and they approached us and they asked us to design something traditional by our own without even the help of designer, and we gave a woman complete freedom, and we created a beautiful Rajasthani jacket. In my opinion, that is incredible. That's made on the khadi material, handmade spin material. It's going to be exhibited in the hotel. Okay, so when some client, I didn't have understanding of Fashion Revolution. Few of my clients, they approached me and they said that, okay, give this woman paper where it was written, I made your clothes, and take the picture and send us. So we did first year we did. Second year, our journey was a little difficult with the few clients, and we were thinking that they've been asking us to hold the paper, who made your clothes and I made your clothes, but we were doubting whether they follow these values really from bottom of their heart. So then actually I thought, why we need to hold the paper which is written in the English and our ladies don't even understand what is written on it. So I think what I expect from Fashion Revolution is give us voice. Give us voice so our voice could be also recognized on the international platform. We are the face of the ethical fashion, and many organizations like us in a different country, we should get a chance to come on an international platform, and we should share our idea of the ethical fashion more than just holding the paper. And I do ask my clients, give us chance to speak, not only paper, like we have a voice, we have an idea to share, we can speak about it. Yeah, so I would really expect Fashion Revolution to make a voice stronger of the supply chain and go to this different community who's creating these garments and give them a platform to speak about.